Good morning, everyone. I've had to put my tarp up because we've got rain coming in and out, and it's cooling off. One last day of cold temperatures. I think we're going to get down to 32. That's all right. I've still got my winter gear. I haven't swapped it. That I'll do probably later on in the week if I have time. I've got to work. I've only worked one day this year. I worked 3 days last year, so it's not like it occupies my time. I've just got 5 days worth of things I got to do. I got to work with my son on Monday and other work. So in any case, and the other work might mean more work next month. The good news is I get to move into Brush Creek, which is south of here. And I'll be there for a couple of months. There's a couple in here that stayed over the weekend, and it was pretty full. I'm glad I wasn't here with a lot of kids making noise and screaming and running around. They need to do that, but they have play areas, people. There's swings and slides and stuff all, in 3 different places in the park. Let them burn off their energy there, not here. Not when they're running rampant without anybody's supervision. Running into the parking lot, cars having to stop for them. If you're not going to watch your children, don't have them. You have a choice. You can say no, or you can take proper precautions. All right. The title for today is Peter Messed Up. I will finish the title because it's hard to put a long title in because then it wraps and you don't see it all. Peter messed up to show that we can too. Hang on just a sec. Like I said, there's a couple moving their site. They were here over the weekend, and then everybody moved out, and they're moving their site to a nicer one back in the trees. It's the nicest camp here, but I'm out here where I can get my antenna to work. See, it's right there. I have to have enough blue sky to point it in the right direction. Otherwise, I just uploaded a video from here, so it works. Okay, so Peter messed up so we don't have to worry about it. I've talked about Peter in the past. He's a prominent figure, obviously, in the history of the church. And we're talking about the church today a little bit because today is, as I'm recording this, it's St. Patrick's Day. So we're not going to talk a lot of blarney today. I'm not Irish, I'm Scottish. St. Patrick was Scottish too. Okay, so Peter is obviously someone who was called of God. As Christians, we are all in the same boat. Understand that? We're all called of God. Our job is not to sit back and wait for things to happen. We need to get out and make things happen. Peter made things happen. Peter was proud of his relationship. I think he went too far when they said, well, we're going to crucify you. They were crucifying people all over the place. That was their standard punishment. And they were going to crucify him. And he says, I don't want to be crucified the same as my Lord. Crucify me upside down. I think that's carrying it a little bit too far, Peter. I understand. But there were 2 other people on the crosses with Jesus, and one went with him to paradise, so one got saved. So don't worry about it. It's not the means or the method, it's the purpose. Okay, so he had tons of frailties and shortcomings, and we're going to look at, there's questions about what books he was involved in the Bible. Some say he might have been involved in helping to write Mark. Right now, the best attribute for that would be anonymous, and then they put Mark's name on it. Same with the the other Gospels. We're not really sure who really wrote them. And the reason for this is Peter was a fisherman. These guys were fishermen. They were common people. They didn't know how to read and write. So somebody had to have taken this stuff down and wrote it for them. Now, if you read a book and it's got so-and-so's name on it as the author, did he have somebody to help write it? It's a good possibility, especially if it's a celebrity. So, it's okay. The material's still good. It's still inspired by God. So, the case that I want to look at specifically with Peter is when they were out on a boat and the seas were rough. That seems to happen quite often on that big lake, the Sea of Galilee. The winds across the desert blowing across there kick the waves up pretty good. In this particular case, this isn't one where Jesus is sleeping. This is one where he's not with them. And they're panicking. And then they look up and they see a figure coming towards them. They think it's a ghost. Finally he says, "It's not. I'm not a ghost. I'm Jesus." And Peter says, "Well, if you are Jesus, bid me to come to you on the water." And Jesus said, "Come." I'm not going to read the scriptures. You should be familiar with this. The point is where I'm going with this. He walked on the water briefly until he took his eyes off. See, this was his first encounter with walking on water. If he were to get a second attempt at this, he'd do better. A lot of times what happens to us in life is we run into something we've never dealt with before, and we don't do a good job on our first attempt. Don't worry about it. Jesus, "Oh, you of little faith." What's the matter with you? Come on. You should have kept your eyes on me and you could have kept walking. Which is the lesson that we're to learn too also, is that keep our eyes on Jesus and we can do whatever task he's having us do, even if it is walking on water. And every time we mess up because it's something we've never done before, he may give us another opportunity. He may just show us our inabilities, our failures, so that we don't get too arrogant. We're not really sure what Paul's thorn in the side was, but it helped keep him humble. So sometimes we go through problems to keep us humble. All right. So I guess in looking at Peter, realizing oh my God, I'm walking on water in a storm. Oh my God, Jesus, save me. Wrong statement. Peter should have said, "Oh my God, I'm walking on water. I can't do this. Jesus, strengthen me. Help me to do this." See, if you're in a situation where you don't know what you're doing, he's the master of everything. Get him to show you. Then we can make the best of our situation. And we don't have any occurrence that we know of that Peter got to do it again, which is too bad, because maybe he would have been able to keep that as an ongoing miracle to show the people that he was leading. Now, with us in dealing with normal situations, depending on what they are, we will usually get multiple tries at it. If somebody were to, I've tried to go back and visit where my dad played baseball, and they're just not, people aren't friendly anymore. They should be going, "Oh my God, your dad played ball here? Come on in, let's have a tour." And I was like, "Do you have an appointment?" No. So I don't know. If I got past the guard dogs at the front door, I might have been okay. People inside might have been happy to see me, but they get too many people that try stuff and they have guard dogs there. People. But you got to think about your situation. You've got to be prepared for every situation, and you've got to make sure that you don't bring yourself into the conversation until you know where you're going. Since I'm talking sports, let's say I walk into a room full of people that I don't know. I'm going to try to witness at some point. I come up to somebody and they're talking, I can tell they're kind of talking basketball. Not my favorite sport, but I will watch it. And I might come out with and say, boy, I hate the Boston Celtics. Okay. I've blundered into a conversation and made a statement. The guy I'm talking to, a relative of Bird, Larry Bird, who played for them. You're not going to be able to then, on an even ground, an even keel, talk to him about the Lord. Always go in and listen first. Listen to the conversation until you know where the players are. This isn't your show. This is God's show. And you got to find out how to deal with these people. If you like basketball, you can say you like basketball. But don't pick sides, not in a sport, until you know which side you're dealing with. I do better in baseball because of my dad. I have watched football. I've watched live football and I've watched live baseball. Football is more exciting because there's more going on. If the teams are really close in baseball, it's boring. I'm sorry. I used to live in the East Bay of San Francisco. Not Oakland, but San Leandro area. And I would drive across the bay and work in Silicon Valley when I was there. And I'd go to the stadium there and I'd watch the Braves play and not the Braves. Oakland A's. I'm in Atlanta now, I've got the Braves. The Oakland A's, and I'd watch the Raiders when they were there, when they started there in football season. So I knew them, so that was my thing to do. I'd go there and watch. I've been there in the seats watching an A's game, and they had like a whole long line of pennants up there that they won every year. The only time they had trouble is in the final playoffs. But everything up through that, the local people, other teams that they were fighting, they always won. So it's boring. It's 1-0 in the ninth inning. Friends said they saw me on TV. I'm up there because it was boring. There's nothing to do. I'm not a partier. I don't go and drink and have time like that. I go there to watch and be entertained. And it was just a boring game. I've been to the Raiders many times, and even if they won or lost, it didn't matter, and it was a good game, you have a good time watching it. There's more activity. And we found out where the players went after the game to unwind, and I'd go with friends and we'd go there and we'd talk to them and find out how they're doing and things like that. It's fun, but you got to know who you're talking to. I've opened my mouth on set a number of times and said something stupid. Because I'm not at the same level as the people I'm around. I've been around major actors, and I've said something stupid, and they've given me that look. We paid our dues to get here. Did you pay your dues to get here? Well, frankly, I have, but they don't know anything about it. Because I came a different door. But they hold it over them, the big actors, about paying their dues. You deserve this now because you paid your dues. It means they've made a whole bunch of trashy movies, and now they get to make a good one. As long as they did a good job in a trashy movie, they're okay. If the movie doesn't do well, that's okay. If you did do your job right and you acted well, you at least brought it up a little bit. So they see that kind of stuff. But I've said stuff that comments about, this is easy. Well, you guys, these people get paid too much money. I wasn't talking to the actor, but he heard it. It's like, yeah, but a lot of them worked menial jobs, waiter jobs, things like that, while they were trying to find acting work. It's not an easy business. It may be easy work for the most part. Some of the actors just play themselves. Okay, so when I talk about my work, I have to be careful. I'm feeling drops of rain. We're going to get some more rain this afternoon, so I got to finish up here. So, be careful bringing yourself into a conversation until you know you've got commonality. If they say they got hit by a car, oh, I got hit by a car too. They don't want to hear your story. They're telling their story. So let them talk. Okay, so there's constant mess-ups that I could give you examples of, and you'd be all depressed when you get over it. I'd be all depressed if I thought about that being the only thing I've ever done in my life is all my failures, but it's not. Failures are a stepping stone. You have to fail. I've taught snow skiing, and I tell people during the day, and they say, I look at them and they go, your clothes are too clean. Didn't you fall down at all today? No, I never fall down. I tell them, okay, if you don't fall down the next time you're in my class, you're out of my class. Because if you're not falling down, you're not trying. Okay. Yeah, I can hear the rain starting to hit the tree leaves. So, it's not natural for us to rely on the Spirit to guide us. We have to learn. It's not natural for us to walk. We have to learn. God is patient. He's more patient than we have been as parents. So, trust Him and keep trying. Keep getting back up. Keep riding that horse. Every time we witness, we get better. Again, if you're just starting out, watch others witness. Join a group that's witnessing and just watch them. Don't interject. No matter how much you want to, don't interject until you've at least seen 2 or 3 of these. Then you might jump in. You could say something like, that's my favorite verse. Okay? And they're talking about it. You better know it. So, I always involve myself with churches wherever I go. I encourage you to be involved in churches as well. Local churches. Don't drive 20 miles to go to a church if there's one right there on the corner. That one right there in the corner, you go, well, it's not working right. They've got problems. Maybe because you're not there to help them. At least try to help them first. And if you hit yourself against the wall so many times, you got to step outside, then go look. But then don't go looking 20, 30 miles away. Go down the road 5 miles. I'm in Georgia. There's one every 10 miles here. The only thing that there's more of would be Dollar Generals and Waffle Houses. The places you go after church. So they got to have them ready. Okay. Yeah, it is starting to rain, so I really got to... How are we doing on time? Give me 10 more minutes, God. I do have a tarp over my deal back there, but I'm at the table. I'm all set up. Let's get through this. Okay. Once people know that you are a Christian and that you're there to encourage others, then you're on the right footing. You don't ever want to come on with the, I'm better than you are because I know all this stuff. You never want to do that, because if they don't know, they also don't have the Spirit of God in them to have discernment. So you got to be in your best behavior. I'm in camping clothes, but I could put a tie on every morning and do this. It seemed kind of silly, in my opinion, and the only reason I've got this on is because the temperature is starting to slowly drop. It will be 32 in the morning. Okay. If you're putting your best foot forward, God will use you properly. Otherwise, he's going to use the other people to teach you, and you're not going to be very effective. And the other people are going to teach you that you're not ready. You didn't do your homework. You didn't put your armor on. You didn't study the scriptures. If you're going to hand out a tract, you'd better know the verses on it. Be prepared. I'm an ex-Boy Scout, Scoutmaster. It's one of our mottos. Be prepared. You don't know everything that's going to happen. You don't. But be prepared to jump in and help wherever help is needed. That's the key. Always be repentant. I'm just going to read a little bit out of 1 Peter. We're pretty sure he wrote this around 63 A.D. The people that say the Bible was not written until 400 or 500, not BC, A.D., 400 or 500 A.D., he wrote this before the temple was destroyed. Okay, 62 to 64 A.D. 1 Peter 1:1. Peter, an apostle of Jesus Christ, to the strangers scattered throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, Bithynia, the elect according to the foreknowledge of God the Father, through sanctification of the Spirit, unto obedience and sprinkling of the blood of Jesus Christ. Grace unto you and peace be multiplied. How's that for a greeting? This is Peter. Now, he's had a few years since his visitation and follow me. So he's gotten better at it. I'm sure he's had people teach him. Blessed be the God and the Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, according to his abundant mercy, has begotten us again unto a lively hope by the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead, to an inheritance that is incorruptible, undefiled, that fadeth not away, reserved in heaven for you. That's what we're going to. It's got to get there. Who are kept by the power of God through faith unto salvation, ready to be revealed in the last time. We're pretty much there. Peter wrote these things to reach out to places where he'd been, talked to people there. People had come and seen him. We don't know if he wrote or had anything to do with the other Gospels, but certainly he'd be one to ask. I'm sure they all got together and took notes. And do you remember this? Yeah, I remember this. He did this and this and this. That's probably how it came down. I don't know. 40 years, 30 years after Jesus, he's writing this stuff down. But this isn't memory stuff. This is stuff he's learned with the Spirit of God. And the thing is, after Jesus left, he sent us the Helper. We have the Spirit of God to help us bring this stuff to remembrance. Now, my job is not to run around on the street and tell people things and bring in crowds and talk to them. That's not me. So I don't have to worry about memory verses. I just have to remember the story and go, okay, where was this at? And I can look it up. I use Google. This is funny. I'm having fun. I've got my laptop here, and it's got a little mouse pad. And it is raining. Not a lot. But I'm seeing the raindrops hit the mouse pad. And when they do, my screen is jumping. Not like when the uncontrollable mouse went off crazy. I will have to go in because it is starting to rain. And I've reached my minimum limit. So one more verse. Wherein ye greatly rejoice, though now for a season, if need be, you are in the heaviness through manifold temptations and the things going on around us. This is not an easy time to be a Christian on earth. That the trial of your faith being much more precious than the gold that perishes, though it be tried with fire, might be found unto praise and honor and glory at the appearing of Jesus Christ. I'm going to close up because it is sprinkling. Have a blessed day, everybody. Give somebody a smile till we meet in the clouds.